What is sociology? Sociology is a study of social life, social change, and social causes and consequences of human behavior. And from that comes sociological imagination. Sociological imagination is connecting your personal problems to the bigger issues in society. For example, losing your job can feel like a personal failure, but with sociological imagination, you start to realize that many people are unemployed because of the economic condition. It's not just you. Sociologists use sociological imagination because it helps them see that personal problems are often part of bigger social issues. Instead of blaming individuals, they ask what's happening in society that might be causing these problems. It's like zooming out to see the full picture that we can understand people more fairly and find real solutions. Deviance. Deviance refers to behaviors or actions that go against social norms or expectations. What is considered deviant can change depending on culture, time period, or situation. It could be illegal or just outright weird. For example, wearing pajamas to work isn't illegal, but it is unprofessional. I chose deviance because I find it interesting how society decides what is normal and what isn't. Sometimes people are labeled as deviant not because they did something wrong, but because they don't fit social expectations. I want to understand how these labels affect people's lives and why certain groups are judged more harshly than others. Deviance has negative and positive impacts in society, like, for example, negative impacts. It can create fear, mistrust, and instability, especially when it involves crime. It leads to social stigma and division as certain groups may be labeled as criminals. It can burden institutions like legal system, police, and prisons. On the other hand, positive impacts can challenge unfair rules and spark social change. Many movements like civil rights or LGBTQ+ rights were once considered deviant. It helps society define what is acceptable because rules are often reinforced when someone breaks them. Sometimes positive deviance inspires progress like people who break norms to act ethically or creatively. Deviance can disrupt society, but it's also necessary. It helps us question norms, improve laws, and move forward as a society. Social change is a concept that could be applied to deviance. What is social change? Social change means significant shifts in cultural values, law, or social structures over time. It happens when people challenge the status quo and push for new ways of thinking or acting. Deviance can be a powerful force for social change. When someone breaks norms or protests unfair systems, their actions may first be seen as deviant, but over time, these actions can lead to progress. What was once considered unacceptable often becomes accepted or even celebrated. For example, protesting against segregation during the civil rights movement was once seen as deviant, but it helped transform laws and attitudes. Another concept is cultural deviance. Cultural deviance is behaviors and beliefs that are considered normal in one culture but viewed as inappropriate in another. Deviance isn't universal, it all depends on cultural context. What one society or group celebrates, another may reject or condemn. This shows that deviance is socially constructed rather than naturally good or bad. For example, in some cultures, having tattoos, piercings, or brightly colored hair is normal, although in more traditional or conservative cultures, the same appearance may be seen as rebellious or disrespectful. Cultural deviance proves that there is no single definition of normal. What's considered deviant often depends on who you ask and where you are. Crime is also a concept. Crime is a type of deviance that involves breaking formal laws set by the government. Although not all deviance is illegal, but all crime is considered deviant because it goes against society's legal rules. When people commit crimes such as theft, assault, or vandalism, they violate not just social norms, but official laws and will be labeled as criminal and will face consequences such as jail or fines. Could be seen through many different perspectives, one being the functionalist perspective. The functionalist view sees deviance as normal and necessary part of the society. It helps define what's right and wrong. It strengthens social norms and can lead to positive change. Deviance serves functions and it unites people against wrongdoing and can spark reforms when norms are outdated. Protests or social movements can break rules but can lead to progress. This comes to show that deviance is necessary to enforce the rules, illegal or not. It unites people against wrongdoing and can spark reforms when norms are outdated. Protests or social movements may break rules but can lead to progress. This comes to show that deviance is necessary to enforce the rules, illegal or not.